So what's our goal in balancing diets for protein? Our goal should be to meet the protein requirements of our cows for whatever milk production and composition that we want with a minimum amount of crude protein. We as nutritionists were preaching minimum amounts of phosphorus for years and years until we got so sick of it. And then finally it got into NRC 2001. And most farmers stopped buying cold turkey supplemental phosphorus. There's no point in feeding a surplus if you don't need it. That means meeting two sets of dietary protein requirements. RDP, that's to meet the nitrogen requirements of the bugs that are in the rumen. That's why you feed it. If I ask you here today, how much RDP are you feeding in your diets? Do you know? If you don't know, ask your nutritionist. And if he doesn't know, fire him. And get another one. They should be helping you. Monitor that. If you don't know, you must not be monitoring it, huh? And then RUP is to meet the amino acid requirements of the cows. What happens if we underfeed RDP? It's going to decrease synthesis of microbial protein, decrease digestion of carbohydrates. If you decrease digestion of carbohydrates, what are you going to do to feed intake? You're going to decrease it. Cows can't eat as much. And if all of these things happen, it'll decrease milk yield, may decrease fertility. Now, most of you are probably not underfeeding RDP. Most of you probably aren't. Why not? Because you're balancing for crude protein and you think you got to feed a 17–18% protein diet. So automatically you're just probably getting enough RDP. But that's kind of wasteful, doing it that way. Monitor that. If you overfeed RDPs, these are some of the things that can happen. Research has shown that. So we don't want to underfeed, we don't want to overfeed. How about RUP? Well, we don't want to underfeed RUP because that's like underfeeding protein to pigs and chickens. We're underfeeding protein. These things will happen. If we overfeed RUP, these things will happen. So again, we want to try and focus in on both of these. So we should be thinking of RDP as a percent of diet dry matter. What is yours? Is it 10% of diet dry matter, 11, 11.5? Track it, know what that is. Lower it a little bit if you think you can lower it. That's a wonderful thing. Same thing on RUP. Get the quality as good as you can get the quality through amino acid balancing and buying good supplemental, high quality supplemental proteins. And then start ratcheting it down until the cows say, that's not enough. Back, okay? Bring it back a little bit. And if you follow just that strategy, you will find there's no need to feed more than a 16% protein diet. There's no need. But that's not what we do. Now there's a lot of dairy farms in New York that are down in the 15s. There's dozens of farms in New York that are in the 15s, 15 to 15.8, 15.9% crude protein. They're doing exactly what I've just said. questions on fat? Because I want to get out of fat.
Right here.
Yes.
I don't have a question on that, but I think as a whole here in our area, we're way up on butterfat protein this year.
That's excellent.
Explain that to me though.
Yeah, no, that's good. And it's the same thing in Wisconsin. I mean, I'm shocked at some of these. I'm shocked at the number of herds that are going over 4%. I just.
Well, we're not over 4, but we're at 387 right now.
Well, no, that's really good. You're way above average there, right? 365 is the average for your area. Yeah, and that's great. It's great. So something about carbohydrate nutrition there. I think very little of that has to do with anything on amino acid nutrition, although it can, and I'm going to talk about that. But it's pretty much going to be on the carbohydrate side, because if you're that high, you're not suffering from the classical cases of milk fat depression. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there's still a lot we don't know, but we're not going to get there, are we? If we just balance diets for non-structural carbohydrates and NDF and crude protein. If anybody can, I have a tough time calling myself a nutritionist, so that's all I balance for. The dairy producers here don't need me for that. Yeah.